Hi, I'm Alan Lesher, the President and CEO of the YMCA of the Inland Northwest. With similar roots and names, many people are surprised to find out that the YMCA and the YWCA are not and have never been officially affiliated organizations. Here's the story. Around the turn of the century, many young people moved to growing cities like Spokane for employment. They left behind families and community support systems. Women especially were exposed to many dangerous and exploitative conditions during this time. In response to these societal changes, both YMCA and YWCA organizations were independently founded in cities across Europe and the United States to provide safe, moral, and Christian support systems for young men and women, respectively. In 1903 in Spokane, a small group of women gathered in a meeting room at Spokane's first YMCA to discuss organizing a YWCA here. Soon after, they officially chartered YWCA Spokane, with 90 women pledging to join and support their vision to, quote, build something for the girls. Cut to 2006, over 100 years after that first meeting, our organizations joined forces again after realizing that we were both poised to launch capital campaigns for new facilities. The two organizations came together to bring a joint case to the community for support. It was a resounding success, and the community loved the why and the why approach to working better together. The YWCA Spokane and YMCA of the Inland Northwest Partnership was the first of its kind between the two organizations anywhere in the U.S., and years later continues to serve as a model for successful collaboration between nonprofits.
Hi, I'm Mayor Nadine Woodward. In the early years of YWCA Spokane's existence, the city of Spokane was booming. Between 1900 and 1910, fueled by mining, railroads, and fertile farmlands, the city's population nearly tripled to well over 100,000 residents. While this growth brought money, prestige, arts, and culture, it also brought a seedy underbelly of drugs, gambling, and sex trafficking. During this decade, many women were being lured to the area with the promise of work as secretaries, only to be forced into the sex trade. YWCA Spokane quickly became an important community resource for young women and girls by providing safe spaces, employment services, and education. Classes included domestic science, religion, fitness, and English as a second language. In 1909, YWCA Spokane opened the city's first cafeteria for young working women. And by 1915, each month there were 4,000 visitors to the cafeteria, employment office, and reading room.
Hi, I'm Nicole Archer. I'm a survivor. After the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, the notable disappearances of a number of women and girls led to a nationwide YWCA effort to develop travelers' aid programs. In an attempt to prevent similar disappearances of women and girls at the 1905 Portland Expo, YWCA Spokane petitioned local railroad officials to allow them to establish booths in train station depots. Volunteers then assisted women and girls who were traveling alone by providing safe places to stay overnight. The Travelers Aid program continued through World War II. It may have been YWCA Spokane's first program designed to directly combat gender-based violence.
Hi, I'm Susan Stacy, Chief Executive with Providence. In the 1920s, YWCA Spokane began to expand their women's athletic programs, establishing the Girl Reserves. Its goal was empowering women by instilling characteristics of loyalty and service, good sportsmanship, graciousness, responsibility, and self-respect. Then, in the late 1930s, generosity made it possible to continue growing and expanding programs. YWCA Spokane received a gift from local philanthropists Mr. and Mrs. Eugene Echo, a new amateur athletic club building and land for a summer camp.
Hi, I'm Carla Cicero, President and CEO of New America Credit Union. This summer camp became known as Camp Glen Echo, a place of fun, relaxation, and personal development, as well as a place where young girls could grow as citizens with democratic values. The new athletic club building, located at the corner of Main Avenue and Monroe Street, allowed for the use of a pool, social rooms, sleeping quarters, and a gym. It would remain the home of YWCA Spokane for the next 38 years.
Hello, I'm Linda Hendrickson, Chief Engagement Officer for Ag West Farm Credit. During World War II, YWCA Spokane worked hard to support the war effort through its support of women who carried on at home. The Travelers Aid Program was expanded to operate 24/7. The Victory Crop Corporation was an invention to recruit women and youth to assist with the local agricultural harvest. And to provide a recreational outlet for women working long hours at the air depot, the YWCA held dawn dances scheduled at the extraordinary hour of 12 a.m. to 3 a.m.
Hello, I'm Don Hamilton. Lorna St. John and I run the Hamilton Studio. Also during the mid-40s, YWCA Spokane established a number of supportive social clubs for women. One was the Quest Club, which helped support young women of Japanese ancestry build community and relocate after internment.
Hello, I'm Kurt Holmes, Vice Chairman for the Kalispel Tribe of Indians. In 1968, YWCA Spokane joined with YWCA USA to dedicate themselves to what they called the One Imperative, to thrust our collective power towards the elimination of racism, wherever it exists, by any means necessary. In the 1970s, the YWCA conducted an action audit for change to identify the effect of racism on the organization. The results suggested that more work should be done to engage local minorities in programming and leadership. YWCA Spokane needed to provide more opportunities for white community members to understand racism and the histories and cultures of marginalized ethnic groups.
Hi, I'm Alex Jackson, Chief Exec of Multi-Care here in the Inland Northwest region. In the 1980s and 1990s, YWCA Spokane hosted events intended to challenge cultural and society's inequities. Community forums, workshops, and seminars confronted sexism, racism, homophobia, heterosexism, and anti-Semitism. Negative perceptions of persons with disabilities and of people with low income were similarly contested. Today, YWCA Spokane's racial and social justice work includes awareness-raising events such as the annual Stand Against Racism. A summer camp focuses on empowering young people of color, and Pathways Forward is an action-oriented educational discussion series about social justice issues. To be sure, anti-racist advocacy and awareness runs through all of YWCA Spokane's programs, be it in early childhood education or domestic violence intervention and prevention.
I'm Dr. Vanj Hockheimer, Associate Professor of Economics at Whitworth University and former YWCA board member. In the 1970s, YWCA Spokane created a drop-in center for women known as the Women's Resource Center, which has evolved into today's Women's Opportunity Center. It offers support to women and victims of domestic violence with a free clothing boutique, computer lab, employment services, and holistic healing classes. In 1977, the first official work against domestic violence started in the Women's Resource Center, with one staff member joining the team to focus on supporting victims. In 1978, YWCA Spokane opened the only shelter for victims of domestic violence in the region. In the first 4 months of operating, the shelter served 15 women and 16 children. Today, YWCA Spokane's Safe Shelter continues to provide a safe place for survivors. Other domestic violence programs have expanded to include mobile housing support, legal advocacy, therapy, peer support, and so much more.
Hi, my name is Mireya Fitzloff, YWCA Spokane Board Chair. In the 1980s and 1990s, YWCA Spokane expanded their child care and children's educational programs to include infant and toddler daycare, state licensed preschool, and a fully accredited kindergarten program. It was in 1990 that YWCA Spokane first began offering ECAP, the Early Childhood Education Assistance Program. In its first year at YWCA Spokane, this free preschool program had 18 openings for 3- and 4-year-old children from low-income families. Today, YWCA Spokane has 5 ECAP classrooms in and around Spokane. They provide free, high-quality preschool education, trauma-informed care, and holistic family support to low-income and environmentally qualifying families with preschoolers. Since 1990, the ECAP program has helped teach more than 11,000 children. This support of healthier kindergartners increases their likelihood of completing high school and college attendance, and it decreases negative outcomes like teen pregnancy and criminal activity.
Hello, I'm Tracy Meidel. In the early 2000s, YWCA Spokane began officially working with other local partners. City and county law enforcement and prosecutors formed a Spokane Regional Domestic Violence Team. The team focuses on advocating for victims and helping survivors navigate the difficult legal systems involved in most domestic violence cases. In 2015, YWCA Spokane opened the Family Justice Center in their Monroe Street headquarters. The Y serves as a home to 5 partner agencies, which make up the Spokane Regional Domestic Violence Team. The Family Justice Center is a comfortable, trauma-informed, one-stop shop approach to survivor support. Victims can meet with YWCA legal advocates, police officers, and prosecutors under the same roof. They can find mental health, housing, childcare, employment, and other supportive services. As then Spokane Mayor David Condon said upon its opening, putting these resources in one safe place gives victims a comfortable, supportive, and empowering environment in which to stand up and say, no more.
Hello, my name is Susan Vernig. I served on YWCA Spokane's board for most of the 1980s, including as vice president and president. It's my privilege to be with you today to talk about and to toast YWCA Spokane. The year I was president, we secured funding and moved ahead to found what we called the School for Homeless Children. As the school got started, we created a swimming program for those kids. I taught swimming and trained other volunteers to also teach the kids. The start of the pandemic changed so much for so many people. YWCA Spokane shifted the delivery of many services, and the staff adjusted to offer them remotely. That included early childhood education, family support, women's empowerment, and domestic violence support. When in-person assistance reopened in 2021, many programs continued to offer remote services. During these last few years, an even greater emphasis has been put on racial and social justice advocacy and domestic violence prevention. In 2021, a community engagement department was formed to educate our community in a more robust and consistent way. These staff members have worked on racial and social justice issues and strengthened Spokane YWCA's domestic violence prevention efforts. This year, the prevention team is also working with local schools and community partners to provide healthy relationship education to teens. YWCA Spokane's goal is to bring an end to cycles of abuse by starting with young people. Congratulations to YWCA Spokane for 120 years of vitally important service to women and everyone in our community. I'm so proud of YWCA Spokane.